Jeremy Clarkson, known for his sharp wit and often polarizing opinions, has once again ignited controversy, this time setting his sights on the Deputy UK Prime Minister Angela Rayner. What unfolded was a fiery verbal clash that quickly became a spectacle, reverberating through the corridors of power and dominating public discourse. Clarkson, a figure both revered and reviled for his no-holds-barred commentary, seemingly tore through Rayner's political persona, dissecting her rhetoric and decisions with his trademark blend of humor and scorn. It was a moment that underscored the volatile intersection of media and politics, where the boundaries between entertainment and governance blur. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The backdrop to this clash was a contentious policy debate, one that had already polarized the nation. Rayner, known for her straight-talking approach and strong presence, had recently championed a series of proposals aimed at addressing socio-economic disparities. While her supporters lauded her as a voice for the underrepresented, detractors accused her of oversimplifying complex issues and leaning too heavily on populist narratives. Clarkson, never one to shy away from controversy, saw an opportunity to wade into the fray. His critique wasn't just a rebuttal of her policies, it was a full-throated dismantling of her political philosophy and personal style. Clarkson's takedown was a spectacle in itself, delivered with the kind of theatrical flair that has defined his career. He painted Rayner as emblematic of a political class out of touch with practical realities, accusing her of pandering to emotional appeals rather than offering substantive solutions. His words were as cutting as they were colorful, and while his tone was laced with humor, the underlying message was anything but lighthearted. It was a calculated performance, designed not just to criticize but to captivate an audience and provoke a reaction. What made this confrontation particularly noteworthy was its resonance beyond the immediate players involved. Clarkson, as a media personality, occupies a unique space in public life, one where his opinions often carry more weight than those of traditional political commentators. His critique of Rayner was not merely a personal attack, but a broader commentary on the state of contemporary British politics. He framed her policies as symptomatic of a larger trend he sees as detrimental to the nation's future, positioning himself as a champion of common sense against what he perceives as the excesses of political correctness and ideological posturing. Rayner, for her part, seemed to take the critique in stride, at least outwardly. Her political career has been marked by resilience, and she has faced her share of detractors over the years. Yet, Clarkson's broadside was a different kind of challenge, one that forced her to contend with the power of media narratives in shaping public perception. In an era where the line between news and entertainment is increasingly blurred, the ability to navigate these kinds of confrontations has become an essential skill for politicians. Rayner's response, or lack thereof, will likely be scrutinized for what it reveals about her ability to withstand and counteract such attacks. The implications of this clash extend far beyond the personal dynamics between Clarkson and Rayner. It highlights the evolving role of media figures in political discourse, a trend that has only accelerated in the age of social media and 24-hour news cycles. Clarkson's critique, amplified by his massive platform, serves as a reminder of the power that media personalities wield in shaping public opinion. In many ways, his takedown of Rayner is a microcosm of a larger phenomenon, where entertainers and commentators increasingly step into roles traditionally occupied by politicians and policymakers. This event also raises questions about the nature of political debate in modern Britain. Clarkson's approach, while undeniably entertaining, reflects a shift towards more confrontational and personality-driven discourse. While this style can be effective in drawing attention to specific issues, it also risks oversimplifying complex problems and reducing political debates to a series of sound bites. For politicians like Rayner, this presents a dilemma: how to engage with critics who operate outside the traditional boundaries of political discourse while maintaining their own credibility and authority. The cultural and ideological undercurrents of this confrontation are equally significant. Clarkson and Rayner represent two very different visions of Britain, one rooted in a nostalgic view of the nation's past, and the other focused on addressing its present challenges. This clash, therefore, is not just about policy differences, but about competing narratives of what the country should aspire to be. Clarkson's critique taps into a sense of frustration among those who feel alienated by the current political landscape, while Rayner's policies aim to address systemic inequalities and offer a vision of a more inclusive future. As the dust settles on this particular clash, its long-term impact remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that the intersection of media and politics is becoming an increasingly contentious battleground. Figures like Clarkson, with their ability to command attention and shape narratives, are playing an ever more significant role in shaping the national conversation. For politicians like Rayner, this presents both a challenge and an opportunity. A challenge to defend their policies and personas in the face of such scrutiny, and an opportunity to demonstrate their resilience and ability to connect with the public on a deeper level. This confrontation also serves as a reminder of the stakes involved in modern political discourse. At a time when trust in traditional institutions is waning, the ability to effectively communicate and connect with the public has never been more important. Clarkson's critique, for all its theatrics, touches on real frustrations and anxieties within the electorate. For Rayner and her colleagues, the task is not just to counter such critiques, but to address the underlying issues that give them resonance. The showdown between Jeremy Clarkson and Angela Rayner not only electrified the media, but also highlighted deeper societal dynamics at play. At its core, this confrontation was a clash of archetypes. Two figures who symbolize diverging worldviews, cultural identities, and approaches to public life. For Clarkson, a figure whose career has been built on an unapologetic embrace of controversy and traditionalism, this moment was an opportunity to reaffirm his role as a voice for those who feel alienated by contemporary politics. For Rayner, the Deputy UK Prime Minister whose rise to prominence has been marked by her relatability and conviction, it was a test of her ability to navigate the treacherous waters of public opinion and high-profile criticism. Clarkson's choice to target Rayner was far from random. As a political figure, Rayner represents a growing shift within the Labour Party towards a more populist, outspoken style of leadership, one that seeks to resonate with working-class voters while also embracing progressive values. This duality makes her a particularly compelling and polarizing figure, and Clarkson, ever the opportunist, saw in her the perfect foil for his critique of modern British politics. His attack was a calculated effort to undermine not just Rayner herself, but the broader movement she represents, framing her policies and rhetoric as emblematic of what he perceives to be the failings of contemporary governance. The setting for this clash added another layer of intrigue. Clarkson, known for his larger-than-life persona and command of public attention, thrives in environments where his words can generate maximum impact. Whether through television appearances, newspaper columns, or viral social media posts, he has honed his ability to dominate conversations and frame debates on his terms. In contrast, Rayner's strength lies in her ability to connect with people on a personal level, drawing on her own life experiences to lend authenticity to her political vision. This juxtaposition of styles, Clarkson's bombastic showmanship versus Rayner's grounded sincerity, created a dynamic that was as compelling as it was contentious. One of the most striking aspects of Clarkson's critique was the way he framed Rayner as a symbol of political elitism, despite her own working-class roots. This rhetorical maneuver was both audacious and revealing, underscoring the extent to which political labels and identities have become fluid in the modern era. By positioning himself as a champion of the common man against the perceived excesses of the political class, Clarkson tapped into a vein of discontent that runs deep within British society. His critique resonated with those who feel disillusioned by what they see as a widening gap between politicians and the people they serve, even as it ignored the complexities and nuances of Rayner's own background and platform. At the heart of this confrontation was a deeper question about the role of media figures in shaping political narratives. Clarkson, with his vast audience and cultural clout, wields a level of influence that rivals that of many politicians. His ability to frame debates, set agendas, and mobilize public opinion gives him a unique kind of power, one that blurs the lines between commentary and activism. In taking on Rayner, he wasn't just offering his perspective on her policies. He was actively shaping the way those policies, and Rayner herself, are perceived by the public. This dynamic raises important questions about accountability and the responsibilities that come with such influence, especially in an age where the boundaries between journalism, entertainment, and propaganda are increasingly porous. For Rayner, this clash represented a high-stakes test of her political acumen and resilience. As a figure who has built her career on authenticity and relatability, she faced the challenge of countering Clarkson's critique without losing sight of the qualities that have endeared her to her supporters. In many ways, her response, or lack thereof, offered a glimpse into her approach to leadership and her ability to navigate the often hostile terrain of public life. Whether by choosing to confront Clarkson directly or opting to focus on her broader vision for the country, Rayner's handling of this moment will likely have significant implications for her political trajectory. The cultural dimensions of this confrontation are also worth examining. Clarkson and Rayner represent two distinct visions of British identity, each with its own set of values, priorities, and aspirations. Clarkson's brand of humor and critique is steeped in a nostalgic longing for a Britain that many feel is slipping away, a Britain defined by rugged individualism, traditional values, and a disdain for perceived political correctness. Rayner, on the other hand, embodies a more forward-looking vision of the country, one that seeks to address systemic inequalities and embrace diversity while remaining rooted in the experiences and struggles of everyday people. This clash of identities is not just a reflection of the individuals involved, but a microcosm of a larger cultural debate about what it means to be British in the 21st century. Another layer of complexity lies in the ways this event was amplified and dissected by the media. In an era where headlines are crafted for clicks and algorithms drive engagement, the Clarkson-Rayner clash was tailor-made for viral consumption. Every quip, every rebuttal, and every reaction was magnified and scrutinized, feeding into a cycle of outrage and debate that extended far beyond the original exchange. This phenomenon highlights the increasingly performative nature of public discourse, where the ability to capture and hold attention often takes precedence over the substance of the issues being discussed. This performative aspect also raises questions about the impact of such clashes on public trust in institutions. When political debates are reduced to spectacles and personalities overshadow policies, there is a risk that the public's faith in the political process will erode further. Clarkson's critique, while entertaining, could be seen as contributing to a broader cynicism about politics and governance, reinforcing the idea that politicians are more interested in scoring points than solving problems. For Rayner and her colleagues, the challenge is to counter this narrative by demonstrating that meaningful change is possible, even in the face of such opposition. The implications of this confrontation extend beyond the immediate players involved, touching on broader trends in British society and politics. Clarkson's critique, with its emphasis on personal responsibility and skepticism of government intervention, reflects a broader ideological divide within the country. This divide is not just about policy preferences, but about fundamentally different visions of how society should function and what role the government should play in people's lives. Rayner's policies, which emphasize social justice and economic redistribution, represent a direct challenge to this worldview, making her a natural target for critics like Clarkson. As the dust continues to settle on this dramatic exchange, one thing is clear. The intersection of media and politics is becoming an increasingly contentious and influential space. Figures like Clarkson, with their ability to command attention and shape narratives, are playing a growing role in defining the terms of public debate. For politicians like Rayner, this presents both challenges and opportunities, a challenge to withstand and counter such attacks, and an opportunity to connect with the public in ways that transcend traditional political boundaries. This clash also serves as a reminder of the enduring power of storytelling in shaping public opinion. Clarkson's critique was not just a list of grievances, but a carefully constructed narrative, one that resonated with a particular segment of the population. By framing Rayner as emblematic of a political class out of touch with reality, he tapped into a broader sense of frustration and disillusionment. For Rayner, the task is to counter this narrative with one of her own, one that emphasizes her vision for the country and her commitment to addressing the challenges facing its citizens. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Jeremy Clarkson's actions toward Angela Rayner? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.